Hey guys, we're back at it again with another Nom Studios Podcast. I'm Theo Massalon, and this is a space where we make big stories simple and make communities stronger. Today, I'm sitting across from someone who helps people burn the resume and build a career that actually fits to their soul. I like that. This conversation is about to change how you think about starting over. Let's get into it with Sasha Flowers. How are you? we're about to Calix. So we're about to get into it with Sasha Calix. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Yes. I mean, it was a long time coming. We've known each other for a while.
Yeah.
Definitely needed to be on the podcast. Finally got you on the podcast, especially for Women's History Month, because strong, fierce women. Like you said, you were Sasha Fierce before Beyonce.
Yes. She stole that.
So let's start off. Tell us what you do.
Yes. So I am by trade a professional development lead, and I also coach professionals through my business that we'll get into, just discover their possibilities and what they want to do.
Okay. So let's start in the beginning of your career. You did fashion. You went to Parsons, 15 years in fashion before getting into education.
Yes.
Can you talk about your time in fashion? How did you get there? How did you know you wanted to do fashion?
Yes.
What those 15 years looked like?
Yeah. So one, I've been a creative all my life, but I want to say the age was about 12 when I really discovered, you know what, fashion is for me. I can remember cutting up socks and putting them on my Barbies and trying to style them. And, you know, it wasn't really until high school where I was approached by my art teacher who told me about Parsons. And that was when, you know, the rest was history. I had been to New York many times. I have family out here and, you know, really decided that was where I wanted to go.
Been to New York? I thought you grew up in New York.
No, fun fact, I'm actually from Colorado Springs.
I do not see the Colorado in you.
Yes, Colorado girl. Yes, Midwest. We're not from the South. I get so many stereotypes, especially since I moved to New York. I used to get asked all kinds of crazy questions. But yes, Black people live there. That's why they call it Colorado.
Colorado. I've never heard that before.
Yes, it's a huge community that's there, and I will say it's actually a mix. Fun fact, it is a military state. We have the Army and Air Force and a bit of the Navy. So we have a lot of people that travel out there that come from all different backgrounds and cultures. African population is starting to really pop up.
So you're used to all the snow.
Yes.
Oh. No, it needs
I
to
could
go.
drive in it. Snow doesn't scare me.
It needs to go. Okay, so 15 years in fashion. When did you realize that you wanted to get into education?
Got it. So I didn't realize right off that I wanted to get into education. That was a time I had basically transitioned out of fashion because I felt a sense of burnout and was looking for something more. I was just trying to figure out what that next thing was. And I had spent a time working odd careers and it kind of fell upon me where I ran across this alumni career advisor role. And I was like, what's that? I know when I was working in the fashion industry, I had the opportunity to mentor as well as manage entry talent. So I kind of gone through like the recruitment process and being a student, seeing what you go through in the job search process and as well as when you transition out of school and go into the market. And the job just really spoke to me. So I figured, you know, let me give it a try. It was part-time at the moment. And, you know, I applied and made sure to really relay it in a lot of ways that I could. I was a student, a graduate of Parsons School of Design. And, you know, the job fell under New School, which was our parent, or is the parent school. And I just decided to try it.
So you kind of fell into it, but when did you fall in love with it?
Got it. Good question. I fell in love with it, I want to say first week in. Like it just was like no other. I didn't really, I would say, realize a role could ever bring me that much fulfillment until that role. I was blessed to have a manager who was like, you know what, this is a newer role that we created and we just want you to make it your own. So I was able to bring a lot of myself to it. I was able to relate to the journey that a lot of the alum that I was working with at the time were going through. I was a little nervous at first because being with the new school, they have 5 schools, and I came out of the creative school, Parsons. But what I found is I was working with the multiple schools, but majority of who I was working with were the creatives. So I was able to relate with them on really that one-to-one basis to really understand the trials and tribulations that they might have been experiencing finding a job.
So in the education field, I didn't ask you this, but in the education field, you're focusing on helping people transition between jobs or getting into the job market, or both.
Got it. I will say both. A lot of it could be maybe even they're in that job market already and ready to make a transition into a new role, or outside of that particular industry. So transition comes in different forms.
Okay. And I know that in your notes, you put soul searching is part of that transition process. Why is that? Like, why do I have to look in my soul to know to get a job? Don't most people think a job is a job?
I feel like, yes, most people think that until they're actually in it. I want you to ask yourself a question. Have you ever worked in a position and you felt miserable?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I will say that's where I enter in career. There's a big difference between job and career. To me, a job is getting a paycheck and it's working, whatever hours that you're signed to work. At the end of the day, just making your basic needs, which will be on more of the material form. But a career to me is something that is truly your passion. It's something that you're going to put your all into outside of that paycheck.
Okay, so what are kind of some of the problems that professionals face when making this career change? Not job change, career change.
Got it. So if it's something like a career change, the problem they face is lack of clarity. They don't necessarily know what they might want to do. Or even if they have an inkling of what that next thing is, they don't know the first step to take. Really think about, if this is all you've known, it's change, right? Mm-hmm. It's that uncomfortableness of change. And that comes, with anything in life. So when you have been used to doing something, whether it be many years, so like I work with a lot of mid-career people where you might have given a lot of years to, your work. You're not really sure. You're uncertain what that other side is going to look like. Are you going to have to start over? Are you able to pick up, are you able to laterally move? The uncertainty can be the uncomfortableness of it.
Okay, so you work with a lot of people one-on-one. Is this like your side gig? You have a business, right, called New Face Creative.
Yes.
And you work with a lot of people. How many people you would say you work with over the years?
Got it. So over the years, I'm going to say it's a smallish number because it is a side gig, New Face Creative, my business. So I want to say I worked with anywhere from 35 to 40 people on an individual basis to help them with their career transition.
How long do you work with them for?
So it can range. It could be a one-time thing where they might just need me to do a resume audit, or it can go up to over a period of 3 months. So I typically like to do the package programs, the 3-month programs, because I'm with you along the way. So we're not just working on those tangible things. We're also working and digging deep into figure out, is this really what you want? Is this authentic to you, this next chapter you're taking in your life or next step you're taking to go after that opportunity?
As you're talking, I'm realizing that I might have a couple of really good referrals for you because funny enough, over the past, I would say month or so, I've had maybe a handful of people, 4 to 5 people reach out to me saying like, hey, Theo, a lot of people, I feel like I'm getting burnt out in my job. Do you know anybody that's hiring this, that, and the third? I feel like, I do have a referral that Rich and I know, who her name is Jolie. She was actually on this podcast. She's a recruiter. And so I usually give them her contacts. They reach out to her. She'll help you find a new job. But I feel like as a recruiter, she's just she gets her job listings and then she gets your resume and she sees if it fits. I feel like you're better of a referral because you're actually with them through that process, because someone could wake up one day, feel burnt out and say, I'm tired of this job. I need to find another job. But they're figuring it out as they go. You have the framework. You've done it before. You help them through that process.
Yeah. So think of me almost as that in-between person. I'm somebody who would work with the recruiter to make sure that that person is ready by the time they get to recruiter. I also have the privilege of working in a recruiter seat now with my position. And I will say the thing that really burns recruiters is a person who has lack of clarity on what they want, because it makes the recruiter's job harder in terms of if you have all these recs that you need to fill, it becomes harder to understand where to place you. We don't have time for that as a recruiter because we're speaking with hundreds of people, sometimes on a daily basis. And say if, with your friend, maybe she has a quota in terms of placements. So they don't have a lot of time. You might run across the one or two recruiter or headhunter, they're also referred to as, who can give you tips here and there, but they don't really have the time equity to put into you. So that's where I come in. And it's in so many different fronts where I could really help with the individual who then will become the candidate, who then become the placement employee.
But you said that, you also said that you're tweaking your offerings a little bit. You usually deal with individuals. Now you said you're dealing with groups or organizations.
Yeah. So one thing that's become clear to me over the past year is that I have a great understanding of what organizations want being in the recruiter seat, but then not only that, working with employees throughout their career trajectory within organizations. So being able to curate programming to help them along the way, offering, working very closely with training and development departments on identifying any skill gaps, and then also just building in a support system through something like a mentorship program and linking them with leaders within the organization who have great insight into an area that they might be interested in.
So what is like your philosophy in career redevelopment or development sets you apart from a traditional recruiter or HR person?
So one, I'm a coach, and a lot of people misunderstand what a coach represents and means. What a coach's job is to do is to be that mirror. It's to get you as the individual to see what's truly important to you. Once you get clear on what that is, then it's helping you along the way and guiding you to the resources that are necessary to get you there. So that's really where I can say that I'm unique. It's think of it almost like a boat or a ship. I'm there with you along the ride through all the ups and the downs, through all the peaks and the valleys to help you get to that next destination, that island of possibility, as I like to call it. And then also on the flip side, having that real unique understanding of what the recruitment process looks like, what the placement process looks like, and then what career management will look like once you're in that organization.
I feel like you're like perfectly positioned for this because you're also a mentor for Moxie Mentoring.
Yes.
So you have a young girl that you're mentoring right now, a couple of weeks, couple of months. It's like she's getting all these keys for free. Like, she's gonna be perfect. She's gonna know by the time like I get into this career, if I want to pivot, it's all right.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, that's my hope. I try.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very grateful. This is my first opportunity being able to mentor. And I just love it. I love imparting any knowledge that I can and just being that real cheerleader and support.
Okay. So here's a couple of hot takes. You can either agree or disagree.
Okay.
All right. Following your passion is terrible advice.
Disagree.
Disagree? Okay. Sending out your resume is dead.
It depends on what context you're putting that in. I'm not going to say it's dead. Can I be impartial to that one? Okay.
Yeah.
It depends on the context. Like if you're going after a job, you know what I mean? You have to send out your resume. But how are you sending out your resume? That's the question.
Okay. Layoffs are sometimes the best thing that can happen.
Fully agree.
Oh, okay. See, not all layoffs are bad, guys. Side hustles are overrated.
Disagree.
In this economy,
you need it. You need the shmoney.
Yeah, exactly.
Multiple streams of it.
In this economy, you need the side hustles. Networking is more important than talent.
I'm impartial to that one.
I would say I'm impartial to that one too.
Because you can network your behind off, but if you don't have the talent to actually execute whatever it is that you're getting out of that networking opportunity, then to me, what is the point?
Okay. All right, so let's close it out with telling us what does the future of career development look like from your eyes?
Got it. The future of career development for me, it is more organizations turning inward to find talent as opposed to always looking externally, and really spending the time to provide the resources to their internals so that way they can create opportunities to grow within the organization. Sometimes talent is at your doorstep and you don't realize it. And I think organizations sometimes look externally in a lot of different ways, or they have goals put in place that don't include the development and growth of their employees. How do you want those employees to live up to the goals that are put in place if they don't have the resources or they don't have the backing that's there in order for them to be successful?
I want to push back on that a little bit, not a lot, a little bit, because what does that say about the job market? Like, it's already tough out there. A lot of companies aren't hiring. So if they aren't hiring, it's either like they say AI or hopefully internal redevelopment or development. How do we answer that job market question of people needing jobs and not enough hiring going on?
Got it. I hear you. But why are they in the market to begin with?
Touche.
It might be that they were laid off. Why were they laid off? Why were they downsized? Even with AI coming in, does that organization understand enough of what that person might have done? I worked in too many organizations where leaders have made decisions that they didn't fully understand all of the ramifications of that decision because they weren't in the trenches. One of the shows that was my favorite, I just drew a name or blank on the name. It was a TV series where the bosses actually disguise themselves.
Undercover Boss.
Undercover Boss to me is like one of the best shows to really understand from the ground up how the organization is working. And I don't think enough companies are taking the time to actually do that, to understand every aspect, every level of a job, then make informed decisions off of that. Yeah. Again, it goes to succession planning. It goes to staying abreast to what's happening in the market. It goes to making sure that the roles that are there aren't archaic. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. In the whole talent management, organizational development space, if companies don't already have that in their organizations, it's something for them to consider.
How do you want to close out? What do you want to tell everybody watching right now?
Can we pause? I'm sorry. To just clarify exactly what I do, I help professionals connect to their purpose so that they're not just chasing promotions. They are securing opportunities that is going to help them operate in that capacity to the maximum.
Awesome. So where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so the best place to find me right now is on IG at New Phase Creative, just at NU Phase Creative. There I download content, tips, and you'll find out more about the workshops, upcoming presentations that I have coming down the pipeline.
All right, thanks for coming by today.
Thanks for having me. It was a great talk.
Awesome. This is why we do what we do at Nom Studios, making big stories simple. If this hit home, share it with somebody you know. And until next time, stay creative, stay hungry, stay Nom. Happy Black History Month and happy Women's History Month. And that's a wrap, guys. This is why we do what we do at Nom Studios, making big stories simple. If this hits home, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay creative, stay hungry, stay Nom.